growth phases. What are the growth phases which is occurred during the growth of the plants? Under a favorable condition, plants grow along with their parts. Whenever there is a favorable condition, जब भी favorable condition होती है, all the environmental factors and everything is favorable, the plant grows better along with their plant parts. Growth, whenever there is a growth is occurred in the plant, that initially growth is slow at first, then gains its speed. There is a, again increase in the growth, then eventually this slows down and that come to halt. In this diagram, you can see here, you can see this S-shaped curve. This is formed because of the growth phases which is occurred during the growth of the plant. So the total time during which this course of the growth takes place, that is called as the grand period of the growth. And if the growth rate is plotted against the time, the S-shaped curve is obtained, that is called as sigmoid curve or grand period curve. अभी अगर हम से देखते हैं एक ग्राफ में, इस डायग्राम में, you can see here the growth rate. Initially there is a first phase that is slow one, then increase in the, again this gains the speed in another phase, again there is a decreasing and then there is a steady state. So it forms a particular shape that is called as the S shape, and this form the curve. That curve is called as the sigmoid curve. But this sigmoid curve is formed here on the basis of the growth rate which is plotted against the time. Here you can see in here the growth rate and this is the time. As there is a growth rate increase as in response to the increase in the time. And the process occurs in a distinct phases. That distinct phases, that is the grand period of the growth, and that is graphically represented by the S-shape or sigmoid curve. These are divided into the four growth phases. These four growth phases are lag, log, decreasing growth rate, and steady state. So here, the most important thing, what is meant by the sigmoid curve or the growth phase. So these growth phases or the sigmoid curve phases, the growth phases follow an S-shaped curve under the favorable condition. Whenever there is a favorable condition, this follows the growth pattern in the S-shaped manner or the sigmoid curve manner. These growth phases are divided into the four phases. There are the four phases. First is lag phase, log phase, decreasing the growth rate, and the steady state. These are the four phases of the growth curve, and these are also called as the growth phases. Lag phase, log phase, decreasing the growth rate, and here this one is the steady state. Here you can see this looks like the S shape. So here this in this first phase, that is lag phase, this lag phase initially this this is slow one, this is slow and initial growth. There is a this step in during this step, whenever there is a growth of the plant, that becomes slow. As cells are actively synthesizing necessary material, but that have not yet started the rapid cell division. There is just the beginning of the cell division, increase in the cell number during the first step. There is not a rapid cell division. It is just the beginning of the growth of the plant. Second phase is the log phase. This is the most important phase in the growth of the plant. This is very rapid. In this phase there is a rapid growth, that is due to the high metabolic activity. There is an increase in the metabolic rate during this time. This phase is also called as the exponential growth phase, as there is a more or rapid increase in the growth during this phase. This is called as the exponential growth phase. Here you can see in this diagram increase there is an increase in the height of this particular line up to the decreasing growth rate. So here this indicate the growth rate is more. A rapid increase in the size and the biomass, which also accelerate the cell division. Here in this case, there is also the increase in the size, increase in the biomass within the cell, and this also accelerate the cell division, means that cell division is also fast. No doubt there is a cell division rate is fast, but along with that there is also the cell enlargement, and because of third phase is the decreasing growth rate. During this phase, as resources that becomes limiting, growth slows down. This indicating the shift towards the maturation and the differentiation of the cell. Means here the growth rate is slow as the resources become limiting. मतलब जैसे ही ये स्टेप आएगा तो इसमें इसलिए डिक्रीजिंग ग्रोथ रेट कहा गया है कि जिसमें उसको जो सोर्सेज चाहिए फॉर द ग्रोथ इंक्रीज इन द फॉर द ग्रोथ ऑफ ग्रोथ वो कम होगा, लिमिटिंग होगा, इसलिए लिमिटिंग बोला गया है। और एज द रिसोर्सेज बिकम लिमिटिंग मतलब वो अगर कम होता है तो उसकी जो ग्रोथ है वो स्लो डाउन हो जाएगी, और उसके कारण से ये जो शिफ्टिंग है इंडिकेटिंग इस इंडिकेट्स मतलब इसका इंडिकेशन है कि दिस शिफ्टिंग टुवर्ड द मैच्योरेशन एंड डिफरेंशिएशन, यहाँ से उसका डिफरेंशिएशन शुरू होगा, मैच्योरेशन शुरू होगा, और फाइनली ऐसा एक स्टेप आएगा दैट नेक्स्ट स्टेप दैट इज द फोर्थ स्टेप दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द स्टेडी स्टेट। द ग्रोथ सीजेस एज द सेल रीच फाइनल डिफरेंशिएशन, जैसे ही उसका पूरा डिफरेंशिएशन होगा, सेल की ग्रोथ बढ़ेगी, तो वो सेल वहां से उसकी ग्रोथ स्टॉप हो जाएगी, उसके कारण से उसको स्टेडी स्टेट कहा गया है। मतलब ये जो स्टेप है राइट फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग अप टू द फाइनल स्टेप, तो ये जो पूरा स्पैन है जिसको विद इन दैट टाइम हुआ है, और उसका एक रेट है जिसको हम ग्रोथ रेट बोलते हैं, ग्रोथ रेट एज पर द टाइम। इसलिए उसको मतलब जैसे ही जहाँ से भी उसका ग्रोथ शुरू हुआ, जैसे ही वो प्लांट का ग्रोथ शुरू हुआ, एज द ग्रोथ इज बिगिन right from the lag phase, and this is steady to the steady, or this becomes stable at the last step that is called as the steady state. But this is occurred over a time, means this growth in the plant that is occurred over a time. So this is the most important thing in the plant growth. This sigmoid growth pattern applies to all the plant organs. कोई भी plant organ होगा उसको apply होगा even at the cellular level. So while environmental factors such as light, temperature, water, and nutrient that can influence the rate of the growth. मतलब ये ग्रोथ रेट जैसे दिख रहा है ओके, बट इन्वायरमेंटल फैक्टर जो है वो उसको अफेक्ट इन्फ्लुएंस कर सकते हैं।